Good morning and welcome. A little bit early today, uh, but I'm here to uh, talk about how to fight CPS with me, your host, Bob Pace. It's the 6th of March. It's a Thursday, and I'm doing this live stream from sunny California, 3 blocks from the ocean in Surf City, USA. And I'm glad that you found me on Facebook, How to Fight CPS, Bob Pace. Now, I'm broadcasting on YouTube using the StreamYard application. I come on twice a day, once at 10 o'clock in the morning, Pacific Standard Time. This morning, I'm coming on early. And then again at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. On the weekends, I come on at 8. And there'll be other days where, like today, I'll come on early or have another commitment. But I've been doing this live stream for 17 months. You know, it started October 23, and I haven't stopped yet. It's twice a day live streams, and even on the holidays. But I'm glad because I'm here to help you with CPS. It's an unfortunate experience that many of you may have got into. Good morning, Gina, and welcome to my live stream. And Gina, I'm going to put a message up there for you. And this is for everybody that comes to my room, that I am thrilled to death that you're here. And when you text me a message about a comment about CPS or a question about CPS, please show me your first name and your city or county, plus your state. And if you're from another country, your country. Now, I welcome everybody from around the world. There are right now 21 countries that have been participating, over 1,000 people. And I've had Indonesia, Bangladesh, India, and then in the Middle East, I've had Libya and Saudi Arabia. Then down to Africa, I've had Liberia, Sudan, Rwanda, Mozambique, and then 2 states in South Africa. Then over to Europe, I've had England, Scotland, Wales, and I've had Denmark and Sweden. Across the pond in North America, I've had Canada, 4 provinces there, and all 50 states. I've heard from everybody in the United States, and also the District of Columbia. Then south of the border, Mexico, and then in South America, Grenada. Then over to the South Pacific, New Zealand, and the land down under, Australia, and I've had 2 states there. Wherever you're at, I'm here for you. I'm here for you because you got yourself involved with something called CPS. Now, what I define CPS as, it is the child protection systems that are found in every county, in every state, and every country. And they all have different names. Like in California, the Los Angeles County, it's Department of Children and Family Services. In Orange County, it's the Child Protection Services. In Prescott, Arizona, it's the Department of Children's Services. In Richmond, Kentucky, it is the cabinet. So whatever you are, I'm addressing all systems around the world and in the United States that deal with the protection of our children from neglect and abuse. And I mean that. There are bad parents out there that have hurt children. There's no question about that. But there are rogue CPS entities out there, systems out there, child protection systems, that are corrupt. They're not transparent. They don't know about family reunification, or they do know it, but they don't want to follow it. Their goal is to make money. It's $1 trillion business in a lot of the areas of the United States. I know firsthand because I too had a case. I've been fighting them for 15 years. Now, we had a person that greeted me right away, which was really great, named Gina. And I really am happy that you're here, Gina. All I really need is where you're located and what about your case. It's really important that you can tell me about your case. Now, I need to put some more information at the bottom of my screen. I want you all to understand that we try to put on this live stream to you, but unfortunately, the costs. Let me see here. Have risen, and we are passionate about bringing you the information you need, sharing the stories to raise awareness, inspire and to fight CPS, and to keep creating the content you love. We need your support. Production costs are rising, and every contribution makes a real difference. And what we're trying to do is we're having you subscribe to our YouTube channel, CPS Defense Strategies. And that would help. Let me see here. We, this morning, let me see here. We have a new newsletter out, and it's news about CPS around the country and internationally. It will contain theories and articles by myself, Bob Pace, and articles by Vincent Davis on how to beat CPS, and articles by attorney Vincent Davis on how to sue CPS. And it's also going to look in the lives of Bob Pace and attorney Mr. Davis and Mrs. G and other platform hosts. There'll be discount coupons for legal consultations with attorney Davis. And when you sign up for the newsletter, you get the newsletter and a private Facebook group, a free copy of Vincent Davis's guide, How to Fight CPS and Win, and a free monthly call news group, which will include a live question and answers with attorney Davis and current members of the group. Now, I wanted to get that across as something new that's fresh off the plate there. Now, I do need to talk about the ways we interact in this live stream. Now, hello, Sela Sweetie. There are no lawyers willing to take CPS cases. Well, I know one lawyer that I don't have to ask that will take it on. All lawyers are going to require some type of retainer. Now, what I mean by that is that you're in an area where, if you're going to fight, if you're going to do open heart surgery, you're going to get a professional doctor. You're not going to dissect your chest, pull your heart out, and try to fix it yourself. And I know it takes an attorney to fight CPS, but there are attorneys out there and available. You just have to look for them and research them. I did. I tried the mistake of trying to fight this myself, and it was a disaster. I tried pro se. I tried the court-appointed attorney, the public defender. It was useless. It wasn't until I got an attorney. And I had to do creative financing to come up with it. But there are attorneys that will help you. It is so critical because dealing with CPS they're not sensible people. There are too many rogue organizations that are bad. They're not transparent. They retaliate. They lie. They lead you on and they hurt you. So I know, Seedless, that you say there's no CPS attorneys out there, but there can be. There can be. You just have to um, try very hard. There are certain ways you can do. Uh, and let me go through because we have Gina come back. I want a one in the news group, please. Okay, well, um, if you can see below, what you need to do is you need to go to subscribe to the YouTube channel Defense California Streaming Consult with Vincent Davis. Um, let me see. We got you're in Houston, Missouri. Thank you, Seedless. That's great. I'm glad to know you're in Houston, Missouri. And Gina, um, you're in. I don't know where you're at. Hello, NYP. That NYP is from California City, California, and welcome. I know NYP's name is Alicia. If I'm saying that right. Um, I know you've tried Seedless, and I know how frustrating it is. And I'm going to try to tell you of ways to help you. In fact, you can talk to my attorney, Vincent W. Davis, for free for 15 minutes. He'll do a private consultation. All you have to do is be a guest on my podcast or call in to my phone number, which I'll be putting up shortly there. Okay, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Glad to have you, Gina. I've had lots of people from Oklahoma, and I'm glad to hear from you, Gina. And Sweetness, CPS are corrupt, notorious. Yes, they are. They are corrupt. Not all, but there are ones enough that they are. I know firsthand. They're so bad that, and they throw away money so easily. It's $1 trillion business. Hundreds of thousands easily given from the federal government to the state, who in turn gives hundreds of thousands to the county. And I should say millions because it's trillions of dollars. Now, I know that with my 3 children that were stolen by CPS, were trafficking into foster care and, abused in foster care, that they were getting $20,000 per child. And I had 3 of them. I have raised 6 children. I'm a loving father, and I'm a husband, and I have 42 years of marriage experience. And I am really well versed in a lot of life skills. And one of those life skills is dealing with CPS. You aren't born with a manual. You don't know how to interact with them or so forth. And okay, we have a new person, Misty Story theme. Albany, Oregon. Okay, glad to have you from Albany, Oregon. So we have Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Gina. We have Seedless from Houston, Missouri. And we have Misty from Albany, Oregon. And Misty says, CPS steals kids and leaves them damaged and feeling. I agree. There are bad entities up your way. I know that, Misty. Seedless says, my kids have been victimized by foster care system. It is heartbreaking. I know, Seedless. I hear you about that. Well, thank you very much, Gina. I am an old dinosaur that still keeps kicking. I'm out there very hardly looking for work out there because it's terrible. This society that we live in today, it takes 2 incomes if you've got a family, and on top of that, it takes you working into the day you die. I don't see any answers. I'm one of those unfortunate, did not know how to invest my money rightly or do whatever did right. I've lost so much to CPS. My children were stolen from me. They were trafficking into foster care. And it was wrongly what they did. It was wrongly what they did. And I knew nothing about CPS. I didn't know about getting an attorney or the documentation or the say no to CPS or not let them in my home or no to policemen or no to not let them in my home, no to not taking my children, no to meeting them in my home or in their office. There's so many no's, so many civil rights. You have to go back and reread your civil rights. I know we all took government in high school. You know, we took government, which dealt with the federal government and the state government. And we're supposed to learn how the state operates and the federal operates and the three branches. But nothing ever prepared us for CPS. CPS is one of those life skills that you need to take, need to know, need to be educated. Because they're a powerful organization. No one has control of them. There's no board of supervisors, no board of directors. Washington, the federal government, and hopefully DOGE, that new organization that President Trump has created, will find out how bad CPS is. Now, I know it's a part of social services. Government mandated that a part of social services will protect our children from neglect and abuse. Now, neglect, some examples of neglect is you don't provide clothing for the children. You don't put them in school. You do not feed them. You do not bathe them. You do not take them to the doctors. Those are signs of neglect. Now, abuse is when you physically hurt a child, throw a child against the wall, shake a child's head when they're real young as an infant, use extreme corporal punishments like whips and cords and ropes and wooden sticks and so forth to inflict wounds on the kids. That's wrong. That's wrong. And we should be protecting those children. And 1,000 kids go unreported every day. 1,000 children. Now I'm talking about children's, from 18 years and under. Under the age of 18, I should say. Under the age of 18. When you're 18, you are now free as an adult. And if you're still stuck in the foster care system at 18, something's wrong. You need to get out of that because you can just say, hey, I'm 18. I'm out of here. So, it is a hard thing. But this agency is doing more than protecting our children from neglect and abuse. They're making money off our children. When they hear a case from a mandated reporter or somebody or a layperson, there's two types of people. Mandated reporters, which are professional people that work with children, policemen, firemen, doctors, nurse, school teachers, counselors, administrators, caregivers, etc., etc., etc. Anybody that works with children, the daycare centers like that, takes a special class in how to recognize neglect and abuse and how to report it. Those are called mandated reporters. By law, they have to report. Now, 75% of the time, they're right on. But there is a chance that 25% are wrong. Now, with lay people, they're your friends, neighbors, acquaintances, in-laws, things like that. In my case, it was my wife's parents and her 3 sisters and her brother that were for 5 years every week telling there's something wrong with our family, which was not true at all. But the social workers, when they hear from a mandated reporter or hear from a layperson, they automatically pronounce you guilty until you're proven innocent. It's the only court or only thing where you're guilty when you first start out. So that's why it's gotten so bad. Also, when President Clinton signed into law the Incentive Act, where they give money to CPS agencies, more money, not only the trillions of dollars, they give you incentive money for having the child adopted into foster care rather than have them do family reunification. Now, those social workers are supposed to do, if they break a family apart, they're supposed to reunify them, bring them back together, have parents take parenting classes, have parents take programs. and those kinds of things. So it can be really, really, really helpful there. Now, let me catch up with you guys in the room here because a lot of you are saying a lot of things. So, C-List from Houston, Missouri says there's no money in it for CPS cases and it's a career suicide. I know it is really hard on the social workers too. Misty says from Oklahoma, is there anything I can do to help parents who lose their kids? Is being a lawyer the only way? I worked 3 jobs. It's horrible. I lost mine 20 years ago over a piece of mail fraud in a barn with weed. Oh boy, that was terrible. I'm sorry that you lost a child. What you all can do is what I do, is that I do this live stream. I work for an attorney, but it's not, it is sharing my story, my life to tell others. I'll sign petitions. A lot of people have done petitions. A lot of people have done rallies. Like in California a couple of years ago, there was one in Sacramento. We got to keep it moving. We got to get Congress to know about it. We need to get it before the floor of Congress. So that is bad. CPS don't care about our rights. They make up their own rules. That's true. That's true, C-List. Gina says Elon Musk is going to audit them. You bet they will. He'll find out that the money that they're doing is wrong. You're wrong. Misty says 1 pound. Let me see here. 1 pound, I lost them for a year. And the person that has marijuana got his kid back a week later. I work with someone who's clean but is now forced to do treating and for new house jobs. I understand some parents now doing drugs is illegal around children. Doing alcohol, smoking cigarettes, that is wrong. You don't do that around children. You have to do that in your own private domain, someplace where it has to be privately there. So I tell you, if you're going to be a responsible parent and going to have children, then you're going to have to abstain from smoking and drinking and doing drugs, because those things are not legal for children. You have to be 18 or 21. I think it's 21 in most states to even get a pack of cigarettes. And it's been proven time and time again that cigarettes will kill you. One of my grandmothers died of that, and she lived a long life, and she quit smoking. My parents both died of that black lung, and they lived a long life too, but they quit smoking. When I was growing up as a kid, it was very common to see parents smoking and to go into parties. They'd have parties, house of alcohol. But I've learned, and when I had my kids, that alcohol, and I didn't smoke, so that was not a problem. And my kids don't smoke. They may have tried, but they don't smoke. And as far as drugs, I stayed away from it. I played something called sports. I played football and rugby and surfing and soccer. Those sports all through high school and college, and after college. I still surf, and so I need my breath, my lungs. So I'm telling you, Misty, that it can be corrected, by the way. Parents that do get busted for that, it can be corrected, and parents can be restored. Families can be restored. But it takes the right kind of CPS organization. Now, Misty says, I want to help these parents because there's no one to help those who have their kids. That is so great. I know you can join support groups, but you got to be careful with the CPS organizations because a lot of them are bad out there. And I know you're still upset after 20 years. They separated my kids and me, and all 3 of us were in different places. I made sure it would never again. I have no record and still don't, and could prove I was the best. I know, Misty. You don't have to defend yourself. I understand. And thanks for what you do. I can't even read what others because I can't do anything to get paid at 1 year apart. What do you mean by that? I can't even read about others because I do anything to get paid once a year. Read what? Read from what, Misty? Genius says retaliation a big concern. They are a pack. Yes. My daughter, I had 3 children that were taken into CPS. At that time, they were young. They were 9, 12, and 15. 9, 12, and 15. And they were taken in, and there's no need for being taken in. And I know what you're going through. And I went through 3 years from 2015 to end of 2017 to 2018. I got my 2 boys back. But you mentioned about retaliation. Well, we had a case where my wife's sister and husband were trying to adopt our daughter, and we were against the idea. And we had finally gotten an attorney, Vincent W. Davis. My wife had an attorney too, named Art. And Art and Vincent Davis, were questioning the social worker under oath. And Mr. Davis is a brilliant lawyer. He's been practicing law for 39 years, fighting CPS. He has schooled and trained in the areas of juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. He is a licensed professional CPS attorney. He has fought CPS for 39 years. He has won cases against them, gotten thousands of children returned. He was once in foster care himself, so he knows the foster care system. He's a trial attorney, and he also does lawsuits against CPS. When your case is over, he will do a civil lawsuit, both in state and federal court, and he's won millions of dollars back. He's won millions of dollars back. So I had him, and he was cross-examining the social worker, and one of the questions came up is, how great of parents are these parents? And the social worker boasted they're great parents. Well, then he asked, have they ever been involved in domestic violence? And the social worker very proudly said, no, they're great. They've never been in domestic violence. Well, then he said, ma'am, I'm opening up a folder here, and I'm going to read you some reports. So he started reading police reports from the local police where they investigated this couple on numerous times, not only domestic violence, but physical domestic violence. And you don't want that to harm your child. So Vincent read report after report, and the social worker was embarrassed. She left the courtroom in tears because she had lied. She had committed perjury. She had set herself up to be sued by millions of dollars. And I thought we had a case there, but she retaliated. You know what she did? She talked to our daughter at 12 years of age. Our daughter wasn't too sure doing what, and told her daughter, you need to emancipate your parents. At age 12, you can emancipate in California. So she told her how to divorce her mom, her dad, her 3 brothers, her 2 sisters, her both sets of grandparents, her aunts, her uncles, her cousins, all of them. She emancipated from them. And then the social worker says you need to change your name completely. So she eliminated her 3-part name, and her middle name was Hanalei, the most beautiful, beautiful name that was ever given. And we've loved her from birth. We've loved her, and she was precious. She was so precious. Now here she has followed the directions of a revengeful social worker who, after saying the name change, says you're going to seal your birth certificate that you were never born with your parents. You're going to get a new birth certificate, and your adopted foster care parents will be your parents. And you're going to get a new Social Security card. And she was double dipping. The CPS system was corrupt. They were taken from the Social Security funds illegally, double dipping on my account. It wasn't hurting Social Security. It was hurting my money. That's the money that I've worked, and I've been working for over 60 years, and I've put a lot into Social Security. They only give it out to you in dribbles because they hope you die and they get to keep the rest of the money. And by the way, for the 60 years, they collected interest on that money, and you don't get a one dime of interest, which is wrong. I hope that President Trump changes that when you contribute to Social Security, that it gets in there and it's a retirement fund where it collects interest. And when you retire, then it's given back to you to keep yourself going. But right now, they give it to you in dribbles. If you get a $100 raise, social services, if you were getting food stamps or getting there, they're going to say, well, you made too much money, no longer there. It's so ridiculous how the social services and the way Social Security is run. It's terrible. It's terrible. It is so terrible. And I hope that they get investigated. It's been an hour visit with my 4-year-old for almost a year. Wow, that's a long time, Seeley. I know you're chopping through hoops and still haven't gotten my kids back. Well, you heard what CPS retaliated to my children. And another thing about CPS, there are 3 ladies in Prescott, Arizona. 8 ladies. They're called the Pink Ladies because they bought pink T-shirts. On the front, they stenciled professional child kidnappers. And on the back, they said, parents, do you know where your children are at? And on top of all that, in 2011 in Prescott, Arizona, these ladies paraded around in the big stores, and they were fired. Not only those 8 ladies were fired, the director of Department of Children's Service, DCS, was fired. That CPS system is corrupt. And hold on one second here. I think I missed a... Okay. I thought it was a phone call that came in there. Hold on one second here. I've had a lot of calls come in, and sometimes it's hard calls. Yesterday, today. Okay. 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 I had a commitment that I'm going to have to go, and I've got to end my podcast. I don't mean to shortchange anybody. I'll be on again at 7 o'clock tonight. And I really want to thank all of you. And there's Margaret King. And I'll take it to Congress. I know you will, Margaret. Margaret was on the phone with me last night. She has been a regular rumor, and she has a terrible case. I know they are witch mom seedless, and I agree. I need to be taken to Congress. The CPS worker closed the referral on my son yesterday. However, she can still file a petition in court. She has 15 days to do that. Her son and daughter are being accused of wrongly of abusing their children. And also, Margaret has a case too. And she has hired Mr. Davis, and he is a really excellent attorney. And she now got the police to stop harassing her. Vincent Davis has put a cease to desist. And so, with the attorney, you can fight this. I know it's so hard with the money part of things, but let me tell you, you can call in or be a guest on my podcast, and you just write Grace, my show producer, Grace at Vincent W. Davis, and you get a free 15-minute consultation with Mr. Davis. Also, I made it possible that if you want longer than 15 minutes, you can spend $60 with your credit card to have a private Zoom meeting with Mr. Davis for 30 minutes. All you have to do is go to that web that's going to cross my screen, https://candlely.com, appointments, apptsvwd/Bob Pace. And because I have a discount there, you get that. And that is 30 minutes with Mr. Davis. So there is two ways, just by emailing and being a guest on my show or calling in. But I do have to end the podcast now because it's well past my time. I started my podcast early this morning because of another commitment. So I will look forward to seeing all of you again. Margaret from St. Louis, Missouri, thank you again for calling in. Sheila Sweetie, thank you for calling in. Let me see here. Gina, thank you for calling in. Misty, thank you for calling in. All of you. Let me see here. Misty is from Albany, Oregon. And Gina is from Oklahoma City, California. And New York, NYP is from California City. That's Alicia, California City, California. And I'm trying to make sure I got all the people there. I think Seedless is the only one I think she's from Houston, Missouri. That's what it is. So I want to thank you all. Please call in again at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time or text me. I care about you. I want to help you. There are ways you can get an attorney. There's ways you can do your documents. There are ways you don't talk to social workers. Don't talk to the police. Do not surrender your child. You need to go the research on the correct way of listing your research. You go to the internet and you just type in your city, followed by your state, and then put the letters CPS. If you're from a country, put in your country, then put the letters CPS, and you'll find a lot of things. If you want to refine it right after CPS, put what you're looking for in CPS. That's the format. And of course, Rule 5 is to make sure you gather copies of all your documents, especially marriage license, birth certificate, children, grade reports, shot cards, those kinds of things. So God bless you all, and thank you for coming to my live stream, and I will see you tonight. Keep fighting for your kids. Bob Pace